What's up, guys? It's your boy Gazda back at it again with some new Archero content in my Archero series. And if you clicked on this video, it's because you want me to explain to you why Meowgik is the worst hero they've released so far. And so we're going to be diving into that into this video. And if content like that seems interesting to you, I highly recommend that you subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so that you never miss an upload. I currently upload about 2 to 3 times per week. Without further ado, let's just jump into really quick, with examples, my anecdotal reasoning why Meowgik, although a great looking character, really cute, like that the developers are doing their thing and making sure that they're updating the app and keeping us entertained and trying to keep content a little fresh as it gets stale. But still, even so, Meowgik is the worst hero they've released yet. So let's jump into it and let me explain to you why. So I'm currently on the capital. I've equipped the Death Scythe, as you can tell. Now Meowgik's special ability, this is a level 1. I haven't uploaded this hero. I just purchased him since the patch just came out. But we don't need any of that fancy schmancy upgrades and levels for me to explain why he's a bad hero. We grab Piercing Shot. I'm currently stuck on this level, but I figured let me do a relevant level so that you can see what I'm talking about. So it's not that his attack is wrong or anything's wrong with his special ability. His special ability is that he gets these cats, as you can see, that will target. They're like homing missiles. They're basically like a Frost Strike or a Bolt Strike or anything like that randomly spawn, and they will target the enemy. And then once they launch, they explode on the enemy, and they do about the damage that a Frost Strike does. Now, this is why Meowgik, from the offset, looks like he or she or it's a cat, we don't know. It's a magic wizard cat. Would not be a bad hero. Maybe not your main hero, but not a bad hero. But actually, let me explain how Meowgik is a bad hero. And is even worse than Bonnie, as I kind of said in the title. Meowgik's ability is a proc. A proc that occurs off of arrow shots. Not even the arrows have to hit. It just, well, I guess in this case, Death Scythe strikes. Not even arrows. We're not using a bow. It matters how many times you launch it, not how many times that it actually hits. So theoretically, we haven't had too much data since this hero's new, but theoretically, if you have you're shooting a lot of arrows and you're shooting with a high speed rate, like you have a high attack speed, this should make his ability not too bad. But what actually ends up happening is it doesn't really make a difference, because with any of the strike abilities, that's automatic, right? So that's right off the bat, it spawns every 2 seconds. You hit a Frost Strike, a Bolt Strike, whatever your strike moves hit. And this does the same damage as one of the strike abilities. So right off the bat, it loses because it's not guaranteed. You don't know when it's going to spawn. It might spawn multiples, as you're seeing as my playthrough. I'm playing through as I'm talking, so that's why I'm not doing so good. I'm not focusing on the enemies, and this is a harder level. It just happens randomly, and if it happens, it happens. With Bonnie, however, and I'll put some side-by-side footage right here. Bonnie's ability, yes, does not proc on alive enemies. It procs on dead enemies. It's a glorified shadow clone, but at least when it spawns, it's there for a few seconds. The cat only spawns and attacks the enemy like a Frost Strike or a Bolt Strike, any of the strike abilities, and then disappears. So you lose this magic ability. It doesn't stay on screen, doesn't continue attacking enemies. Yes, as you'll see as I come up on a boss, it does happen to wait for the boss. It will actually target the enemy. If the enemy teleports or something, it will follow the enemy. But there's one key disadvantage, one major key disadvantage of why even Bonnie's better. Because as you see, especially if you're using Death Scythe, which is a powerful weapon, and it starts procking its moves, if the enemy dies, the cat does not reposition. The cat does not go to another enemy and homing missile into it and then explode. It just keeps going as if that enemy is still there and dies. Now, this is helpful on a boss. There's a lot of health, so that if it spawns or it moves, it will follow that boss kind of thing and make sure it hits them. But for enemies like little mobs like this, I was trying to say little lol mob. I don't know what I was trying to say. the enemy dies and then the cat goes nowhere. Whereas at least with Bonnie, once the shadow clone is spawned, yeah, see, like it does follow them, so that's cool. At least it doesn't just go in one direction. But once the shadow clone spawned with Bonnie's ability, it stays on screen for like what, 5 seconds? And so then it will keep attacking other enemies. Now, when you're in a room full of enemies, especially in these later levels, sometimes what they end up doing is they pack a lot of enemies that don't have a lot of health, unless you're in like in the stage 40s or whatever. And then they all have a lot of health, but all the enemies naturally have a lot of health because it's trying to wear you down, seeing if you can mess up and they can win. But even then, it's a lot of quick deaths, and so these cats will go nowhere. So that's the initial reason why, without too much playthrough, since Meowgik just came out, I believe that Meowgik is not a good hero, and is in fact the worst hero. Now, let's do some more side-by-side footage here, and compare Meowgik to Helix, right? Okay, so Helix is who I main now, because of the rage ability. I used to main Onir, and everyone kept saying do Helix because of the rage ability. Now, I liked Onir because of the light arrow, which when you're using Boomerang, like I tend to like to do, that stacking on top of the light arrow was doing enough DPS that it kind of made a difference, but now we're doing Helix. Anyway, so Helix, we'll take even the multi-shot just to test out the theory about like more arrows. Helix, as he takes more damage, he'll do more damage himself. And so he has a built-in rage ability, which is always good, and you're always going to be taking damage in this game because, especially in the later levels, it's freaking hard. Look, all the enemies are dead in the room. Just side note again, and the cat spawns and it goes nowhere. Meowgik is a fun character, but not a good character for endgame, I don't think, even if you max out and level him up, and then his Frost Strike, Meow Strike ability would probably be doing like 4,000 hit, probably something like that. It does scale with the level of leveling up the cat, I believe, or the weapon, I should say. But not enough. Anyway, as you can see on screen here with Helix, he takes more damage and he does more damage, and that's helpful because that's always going to be active. It's an always active ability when you're playing this game and you're dying, and as you're close to death, and if you're about to really get close to killing that final boss of the stage, and you just are at like 47 health, you got one of those weird numbers where the game's like, well, we'll just give you one last shot. Be careful, you take one more hit and you're going to die. That extra boost in attack could be what pushes you over to be able to kill that boss. Meowgik, on the other hand, look, cat came too late. Enemy's dead, once again. Cat's not spawning. Oh, there's cat. Look, missed, kind of thing. Again, more footage with Bonnie over here. At least the shadow clone stays around for a couple seconds, can aid in battle. The cat doesn't go nowhere. It doesn't reposition. It does not go and retarget. It just is. And so when you have a hero like Helix, who has a constant ability that's always useful because you're always taking damage, he's just so much vastly better. I would say I like Onir because of his high stats and then the light arrows, but that's preference. So I would rank that Meowgik is definitely worst. Helix is so far the best. Bonnie's not good by any stretch of the means, but Bonnie's no longer the worst hero, I think. Simply because at least Bonnie's ability can have more use. Yes, the enemies need to die. Speaking of death, Meowgik has died, and so we'll just kind of end that there. Yes, the enemies need to die in order for Bonnie's ability to potentially proc, but at least when it does proc, it still can help you out in battle. The little cats, yes, it can proc multiple times. It really depends on arrow. It's random. I've said many times in my videos before that random abilities do not aid too well because you want something that's reliable. That's why you go for the front arrow, the multi-shot, the attack boost, things that are statically always going to be there, so you can depend on them, so you don't have to worry about, well, it'd be great if I dodge this attack or if something happens here. You don't have to worry about that. You just play a really good game. Your stats are there. Your abilities are there. You win. Meowgik doesn't give you that room for loss kind of thing. It just gives you all a loss because once you start attacking, you might not get the cats and you're out of luck. So Bonnie at least gives you the ability to have something that helps you The cats do not. So unfortunately, this is why at this current time, the way that they program Meowgik, he's not a good hero, or she's not a good hero, or it's not a good hero. It is the worst hero. So, anyway guys, that's going to basically do it for me on this one regarding Meowgik and my thoughts and opinions. But do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. I do read them, I do respond to them, and I do appreciate them. So again, if you like content like this, I highly recommend you subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, leave a like while you're at it, really helps out the channel, and leave a comment, really helps out the channel. And let's debate this, because my initial thinkings could be entirely wrong in the future, or they could be totally right. But if you enjoy playing with Meowgik and you're just after this game for fun, go ahead and play with Meowgik. But if you're trying to beat this game and get to the capital and beyond, I don't think Meowgik is the pick for you. Agree, disagree, let me know. But that's going to be it for me, guys. I hope that you guys have a wonderful holiday and enjoy this Christmas event. And I'll see you guys for the next one.